In this video session, let us discuss soldering. Objective: at the end of this video, you will be able to do soldering between the conductors and components. What is soldering? Soldering is a heating technique used to make a permanent connection between the conductors or components. When you are asked to make a permanent connection between the big iron rods, you will prefer welding. Soldering is also preferred for making permanent connections between small conductors and electronic components. Simply, soldering is the joining process of two or more conductors or metals by melting a compound called solder. Where soldering is used, nowadays electronics play a main role everywhere, like home appliances, industries, and automobiles. Soldering is used to make connections between those electronic components. What tools and materials are required for the soldering? They are soldering station, soldering iron, and soldering flux. Let us discuss them one by one. Soldering station. A soldering station is a device used in electric and electronic components for joining. The most important factor in them is that they control the temperature according to the requirements. Different metals may require different temperatures for soldering, so with the help of a soldering station, we can be able to set the required temperature level. Soldering iron. A soldering iron is a hand tool available in different wattages used in soldering. It supplies heat to melt the solder so that it can flow into the joint between two work pieces. A soldering iron is composed of a heated metal tip and an insulated handle. Heating is often achieved electrically by passing an electric current through a resistive heating element. Solder. Solder is a metal alloy, usually made of tin and lead, which is melted using a soldering iron. Solder is the filler material that melts and joins the two materials. The rule of thumb is that it should have a lower melting point than the materials to be joined. Only then will the solder melt first and bond the materials. Based on the materials you are soldering, you have to choose the solder with a lower melting point. Sometimes soldering lead is initiated as 60 by 40, which means the lead contains 60% of lead and 40% of tin. Soldering flux or paste. Soldering flux is a chemical agent that is used to clean the surface of the metals that are to be joined. You can solder without applying flux, but the joints might not be strong and can be broken easily. The flux removes the oxides formed on metal surfaces and prevents further oxidation. This strengthens the soldering joints. Let us move to practice soldering between conductors. Assemble all the required items for soldering in the working area or workbench. The soldering station needs to be turned on and heated to the proper temperature before any soldering can be done. If your soldering iron has a temperature control, start by setting it between 300 and 350 degrees. The majority of soldering jobs should be more than suitable for this. Allow your soldering iron to warm up for around 5 minutes before using it if it is not the adjustable temperature type. Always use the insulated handle of the soldering iron. It is generally thought that you should hold the soldering iron as though you were gripping a spoon. Take two multi-strand copper wires with a 1 square millimeter diameter that you will solder together. Remove the insulation part at both ends of the wires you are going to connect together. Twist the exposed metal of the two wires together. Gently apply the soldering flux to the twisted part of the conductor or dip the twisted part into the soldering flux. Hold the solder at the tip with one hand and hold the soldering iron with the other hand. Place the soldering iron on the wire joint so as to heat it up. Push the solder into the wire until it melts and they fuse together. As soon as they appear to be fused, remove the solder and iron. Visually ensure that the solder lead covers all parts of the connection. Let us discuss how to make soldering with electronic components. Every electronic components like diodes, transistors, LEDs and ICs are small. Also, it has thin terminals or leads and is very sensitive. An excess of heat may cause damage to the components, so special care should be taken when soldering electronic components. Typically, all components are placed on a flat board with holes to insert the devices, which is known as a printed circuit board or general purpose board. Analyze the circuit, assemble all electronic components with the correct specifications. Clean the circuit board to remove any oxidation or grease from the solder pads, which can ripple molten solder and cause beading. Use a cleaning agent such as isopropyl alcohol, small brush, or cotton cloth for cleaning the board. All the connections should be shiny, if dull color, which indicates that the surface of the metal has oxidized. Select the appropriate bit for the soldering iron, which is suitable for PCB soldering, and choose the wattage of soldering not more than 45 watts. Prepare the soldering iron. The soldering iron should be allowed to heat to full temperature. 5 minutes is usually adequate for turning it on. The tip should be wiped on a damp sponge to remove any residue. The tip should also be then tinned, which involves applying a fine coating of solder over the entire tip to aid with heat transfer from the soldering iron to the component being soldered. Put the component on the circuit board that needs to be soldered. Before you begin soldering, make sure the component is the right type and value. The component should be positioned with the leads running through the holes on the board's opposite side from the soldering pads. It is recommended starting with the smaller pieces and working up to the larger ones. This helps keep the board flat and balanced as the process begins, rather than weighing it down on one side with a single heavy piece. If you are having trouble getting the piece to stay still once you aren't holding it in place, try bending the leads so that they rest at a 45-degree angle along the bottom of the board. Select the appropriate bit for the soldering iron, which is suitable for PCB soldering. Holding the soldering iron like a pen, touch the component's lead and the solder pad with the tip. To enable the solder to flow uniformly and produce a solid electrical connection, both must be heated simultaneously. For 1 or 2 seconds, keep the soldering iron point stationary. Touch the junction between the component's lead and the circuit board pad with the solder, keeping the soldering iron in place. The molten solder should flow evenly around the joint, and it should form a small volcano shape that is shiny when cool. When the pad is evenly covered, remove the solder and the soldering iron. Examine the joint. When working with tiny connections, a magnifying lens can be useful. The soldering shouldn't have any divots or holes in it. When the soldering iron is removed, excess solder will ball up and form little beads or a spike. Reheat the joint and add a little extra solder if this is the case. Cut the leads on the component about 1/16 inch above the surface of the circuit board. This gives a neat appearance and stops the leads from sorting together while providing enough lead to reheat if the component needs to be replaced in the future. Repeat the procedure until the components are soldered on the board. Let us discuss on desoldering process. Desoldering is the process of melting the solder and removing the joints made between two materials. In electronics, it refers to the removal of electrical components from PCB for troubleshooting, repairing, replacing, and salvaging. Desoldering is most commonly used for this purpose. To put it in simple terms, desoldering is the exact opposite of soldering. You undo everything that you did in the soldering process. Like soldering, desoldering is also an intricate process and requires some level of proficiency. A desoldering pump is basically a small high-pressure vacuum pump. Before using the pump to suck the solder, you have to heat and melt the solder. Use a soldering iron to heat the solder until it melts. Squeeze the bulb or press down the plunger of the desoldering pump and place it on the molten solder. Release the bulb to suck up the solder. Some desoldering pumps will have a release button so that you do not have to keep squeezing the bulb. Remove the desoldered components. Repeat the same steps until you remove the excess solder. Safety precautions to be followed during the soldering process. Caution: a soldering iron can heat to around 400 degrees Celsius, which can burn you or start a fire, so use it carefully. Accidentally grabbing the soldering iron's metal portion will cause severe burns. Unplug the iron when it is not in use. Keep the power cord away from spots where it can be tripped over. Take great care to avoid touching the tip of the soldering iron on a power line. If a power cord is touched by a hot iron, there is a serious risk of burns and electric shock. Always return the soldering iron to its stand when it is not in use. Never put the soldering iron down on your workbench even for a moment. Work in a well-ventilated area. The smoke that will form as you melt solder is mostly from the flux and can be quite irritating. Avoid breathing it by keeping your head to the side of, not above your work. Solder contains lead, which is a poisonous metal. Advantages of soldering. It is simple, low cost, flexible, economical, and user-friendly. Base metal does not melt, so the low temperature heat source can be used. Any metals, non-metals can be joined by this process. Less time required to join. The life of the solder will be more. Solder joints can be dismantled. This can be easily operated. Low amount of power is required to heat the soldering iron. Thin wall part may be joined. Easily automated process. Dissimilar material may be joined. No thermal distortion and residual stresses in the joint parts. I hope after watching this video, you will be able to soldering between the conductors and components. Thank you for watching. You have a good day.